Energy, energy, energy. YouTube. What's poppin', family? Peace, peace. I'm back to bring you another one, so please make sure you like, don't lack, don't hate. Let's get together. Let's not turn our backs. Cause it's time to engage. Comment, subscribe, all of that. Bring it here. I need that traffic on my page. So don't stop, don't stare. You know where the button's at. Tap that hype button, share, and let's get to the video now. It's clear, man. We going up, we growing every day. More and more subscribers. Why? Because we learning how to live stream and how live streaming is the way to market. That is your niche. That is your thing. Live stream is gonna broadcast and put your page in places and ways, and different people are gonna see it every day. Why? Because when you live stream, they have specific ways that the algorithm gives you those impressions. It's a certain way that you reach your crowd. So please learn. Take the time out now. I'm gonna give you some tips and strategies on how to go about getting and targeting the most in the highest rate, of getting that clicks and views, that clickbait. Number one, the title. That's going to be one of the ways that you're going to be able to break the algorithm and get those views is, you look at what's trending, you look at the news, you look at what's going on, what is people talking about, and you use that to your advantage. Sometimes it could be a rhyme, a little nursery rhyme. Sometimes it could be something that's just astonishing and has people shocked. Or it could be something that makes people happy. It could be appealing to your audience. If not, that will probably be the best way. But like I said, clickbait. So, you know, uh the world is ending, parasites, Trump, we go on the wall, it's World War III, something drastic and emotional, and it doesn't have to be graphic or something that can strike your channel, but something like that that's gonna go and it's gonna circulate, and people are gonna wonder, well, why is this person making this title? This looks interesting, this might be something that I want to learn. You could put how to cook, how to eat, how to do this or that. Any of those things, can be very effective. So just make sure that you're, being selective and intelligent when you pick out your titles, people's names, famous people. NBA Youngboy, one of the most famous rappers, Taylor Swift, she just had a wedding, things like that. New York, famous places that millions of people are in. These things are gonna help spark your engagement. Also, another thing with live streaming, right, that's gonna help you. Um, Within like that first few minutes, 2 minutes to 15 minutes is when you probably gonna have your highest engagement. Now, I have seen, different titles and different traffic and sources and information bring people at different times, but mainly in my experience in live streaming, you're gonna see your biggest engagement within that first 2 to 15 minutes. So that's when you want to be your most high energy, using your outside voice and speaking with current, having those peak concurrences, those key words. So constantly saying what's in your title and describing and talking about you know what you're doing. So like me now, I'm talking about live streaming. That's obviously going to be a part of my title. So you got to understand how to pick on part and choose and get those views up within that first few minutes, because that's going to also tell the tide or time on how you are going to do throughout that live stream. So if you don't see, you know, more than a few people, 10 people come in your live within the first 2 to 15 minutes, it's more than likely that, it's just going to go dead throughout the rest of it. Even if you stay on for 10 hours, it's not going to move as much as if you don't have sources or machines or ways to share it and make it do what it needs to do in the algorithm. It's going to go flat. So you might as well not even waste your time if you don't see a certain amount of people come within that. But sometimes, they do come within 30 minutes to an hour. So if you do have the time, I would say wait, try to do at least an hour to 2 hour live stream. Sometimes you could do a whole day, but over time you will progress and more people will start to find you. YouTube will start to know who to share your stuff out to next. So that's one of the things too. Three, also when it comes to live streaming, right? One of the things that I learned is the thumbnail. So the title, we got that. We got the engagement in the first few minutes, on how you present, how you tell people to do what's necessary to help your channel get in the algorithm, the likes and the comments. And also the third thing is going to be the thumbnail, the picture. That's what's really going to be the tell all tales on, because sometimes people don't even care about the title. They just look at the picture and they click. It might be a beautiful woman, it might be some art, it might be, a few different things that you can use to attract and get that, to have people looking into what it is that you're promoting. So that's one of the things also when it comes to the thumbnail, like using titles, subtitles in your picture, and making sure you're describing what you're going to be talking about as well. That's one of the things that I see get the most views currently while I'm, doing what I'm doing, because I get at least 500 live views, you know, a day. And that's my quota. It didn't start like that. It took me a couple weeks to a month to build it up, but I had to keep figuring out the times and the ways and the things to talk about. So please, family, if you like this video, make sure you subscribe, hit that notification bell, and share it, save it, come back and get the information again so you could become the best live streamer in the world. Let's do this. We got it. You know it.